What's up, folks? Hope you're doing well. So the question that is on everybody's mind is this the drip token price bottom? Has it bottomed out already? And that's actually a very hard question to answer because there are a few things that we can look at in order to determine whether it's the case or it's not. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. I'm gonna try to answer this question at the best of my abilities and let's see where we end up. So let's look into it. If you've seen one of my drip related videos previously, you'd know how I like to approach them as of late. So what I like to look at is basically the overall picture, but of course need to look at the figures. So everything related to price action, holders, investments, buy, sells, health of the ecosystem overall. So all of these things are pretty important because if we're just gonna speculate based on feelings, hopium, and whatever words from people here and there, nothing is going to be achieved because unfortunately price action isn't determined by what I think or what you think. So it's a collective movement of all the investors within drip that are doing one thing or the other and how these movements are being offset. So as I usually would do approach this, like I said, so I'm going to pull up my Excel sheet that I update every now and then in regards to the health of the faucet, how much is being claimed, hydrated, and all of that good stuff, in order for us to understand if any of these aggressive metrics have slowed down, meaning the bottom could possibly be in. But keep in mind that even if temporarily we have a slowdown in sales, for example, or whatsoever, that doesn't mean that that's it. As long as the bear market is set in, as long as we don't have much utility in regards to the drip token, we cannot do anything with drip other than either sell it or pair it with BUSD into the farm. Of course, you can enter the drip garden, but that's not a good investment right now. So unfortunately, the limitations behind the usage of the token puts us in a very peculiar position in regards to what we can do with it. And many investors right now who hold a lot of drip see that they either have to hold it for the future price appreciation to earn more when they sell it, or they do sell in regards to earn that BNB or that BUSD and to take advantage of the current discounts that we have all across the board on the main market. So I updated the figures today, technically the figures of yesterday, but since we're starting a new month, so on the 30th of November, this is how much we have in our faucet in regards to obligations. So that is totaling the number of investors that we have in drip. So that figure is pulled out the Dune Analytics website. So you can see it right here, total in faucet. And that is how much we are potentially generating per day if you multiply that amount by 1%, correct? So and that those tokens that we have visible to claim or to hydrate are there for us to do whatever we want. So there's a potential to claim them all. I always like to, go back in time and compare the initial USP, which was at, I'm not talking about the drip token supply, which was at 1 million. So right now we are slowly closing in on generating the total supply that was originally put in place every single day. So that is a bit alarming. That means that inflation is again still running rampant and we're gonna check the total supply anyways. So now that figure is just to give you an idea that this is how much upliners tend to make every single day. So whenever you compound, you are technically giving your team leaders about 37.2k drip. So that's a lot. And at today's price point, that translates to a bit more than 50k USD or BUSD per day. So that is how much all investors in drip are allocating to their team leaders. So that is literally giving a portion of the liquidity, with no strings attached. Now, of course, the original idea of having a referral system that would bring more players into the ecosystem, it's a marketing gimmick. But still, at some point, there needs to be a limitation because it will go out of hand, and we're clearly seeing the effects and the basically contagion of all of this being done across the board as the, you know, as the faucet matures and as we get more investors and potentially same investors with more wallets. And to keep that in mind, the growth is still more or less the same, so hovering around 25%. And you can clearly see that the previous growth, I'm talking about the average from January all the way to October, is, you know, more or less the same as the current growth, the average one from January to November. So we're still growing at the same pace. That hasn't changed as of yet. What did change, however, and that is something that happened ever since the farm launched, and that is something that I actually hinted at, and I said previously that we most probably will see a lot of these drip tokens being held in wallets separately, either be taken out and put into the farm, paired with drip USD, sold, or whatsoever. So I did say that the supply of liquid drip will diminish, and we can clearly see that in 21 days the supply was reduced from a discrepancy, I mean an increase of 463 to literally just 4,000 tokens in 21 days being added into wallets. But if you do actually check the Dunes Analytics website, you can clearly see that at some point we started going down. Now we picked up another uptrend. Now I think again this was the farm effect, but now we're resuming the previous trend, which is people accumulating some of that drip for future use potentially, or to sell them at a higher price. So that is what we're waiting to see here. Now also, you know, moving back into into the same lane and comparing the hydrate ratio, the claim ratio, and what are investors doing, clearly the trend is still there. So you can clearly see that with more drips being produced every single day and the hydrate ratio being almost the same, so here actually it decreased a bit from 57.88 to 55.39. So we're still aggressively hydrating, so we're still hydrating more than we're claiming, but the claim ratio has increased by 2%, 2.49% to be exact, even though the price has decreased. From last time I covered this, we were at I think $3, and now the price is at 1.5. So the price decreased by 50%, but the claim ratio has increased by 2%, 2.49%. So that is a bit, you know, again, we're going back on the alarming side of things, and this goes back to say that investors at this point in time, what does this would tell us in regards to psychology of investors, right? So they're seeing the price decrease, but they're still claiming aggressively, and even more so than previously with the higher price tag. Now that doesn't mean that they're selling all of this drip, because if we keep in mind that right now the claim tokens that are potentially sold or going into the farm has actually increased as well in regards to whatever we had on the 9th of November. So there's about 85k more tokens potentially either being sold or, you know, going into the animal farm. So again, that's also adding to the alarming side of things. So the psychology of investors is not yet settled into a bottom, right? Because they're still claiming a bit more than they were with a lower price point, and they're adding to the sell pressure. Even though in dollar terms the sell pressure potentially decreased because the price decreased, but the number of tokens being sold is more right now. And so to add more insult to injury and to correlate more whatever I just said, you can clearly see that the total supply has crossed the 4 million threshold, meaning inflation is still ongoing. And with inflation rising, the token supply, which is on the rise, because the circulating supply, if you go on the native DEX, you're going to be seeing that it's about 743k. Don't rely on whatever you see on coin market cap in regards to a circulating supply, because those figures are not correct. Whatever is correct though is the volume on PancakeSwap, which is about 60k, and the volume on the DEX is, I think, double that. So overall we're getting an average daily volume of 200k, which is not close to enough to offset the daily sell pressure that we're having. And the daily sell pressure that we're having is clearly showcased on the chart. And if you honestly look at, that's the 1 month chart that I have, because some people could just go on the daily chart and show you, look guys, we're trading sideways, the bottom is in. And unfortunately, 1 day and 24-hour a 24-hour window is very short-sighted and doesn't give us much. This is just BNB playing with us. We haven't found the bottom. You can clearly see also the trend setup with sharp declines, a small side trade, and then another sharp decline, and so on. The 7-day chart confirms what I'm saying. You see some sideways trading, boom, sideways trading, boom, and so on and so forth. So add all of these things together, and you can clearly see that the psychology behind investors is still sell, 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 because they're not seeing any, positive thing at, waiting for us at the horizon. But I'm not just saying those things to sound negative or to FUD. I'm just showing you the numbers, and the numbers are in front of you. That doesn't mean that the ship cannot turn around at any moment in time, because it is what it is. This is crypto. Things happen in a blink of an eye, and all it takes is one announcement or any other, major update that would be upcoming, and boom, we can have a price turnaround, and an uptrend can start going up. So many things can happen, but as long as we're just waiting for future utility that is months away or whatever, keep in mind that this is the trend that we're following. That doesn't mean that you should be discouraged. It just means that you should know where to position yourself. And if you're looking to buy at some point, just keep in mind that there's a potential that you would be buying the same token at another 50% discount versus the price right now. So there's this possibility, but again, since nothing is certain, you can also look into, buying in increments. But this is something, and this is a decision that you should be making. So I just showed the numbers, and I just gave my opinions of whatever I see in front of me right now. Alright, that's it from me today. Thank you for sticking around and listening to everything I had to say. Now, again, as I always say, I hope I brought you some value and some insights. If you don't actually look at these metrics and these tools, they're available everywhere, and I tried to piece some numbers together for you to understand where we're at. So if you actually like whatever I just produced as content, and if you like whatever I put on this channel, consider subscribing and liking the videos. It helps out in regards to motivating us new content creators to dish out better, more valuable content. Do so if you really like the videos and if you like the content, not just for the sake of doing so. And as always, take care of your finances and trade responsibly. This was Roy with DeFi Ascension. Thanks for watching.